All right, we've got a little quick part two to the research essay student example. I'm going to talk a little bit now about counter-argument and rebuttal. Now, that's a really important part of any good argument, whether it's written or it's just something verbal. A counter-argument, and you might want to write this down if you're not familiar with the term, is a statement that challenges the validity or the relevance or the strength of the thesis statement. It's pushing back. It's like the devil's advocate. Now, then the rebuttal takes the power or the force or the strength or the relevance out of that counter argument. And it's important to put in because the counter argument shows your reader and your audience that you've thought about all kinds of different sides of the issue. And you know that some people are going to disagree with you. And that's fine. We all know people that can argue their one side of the argument, but have no idea about why anybody else thinks or feels differently. And those people aren't very believable. They're not very credible. Now, when you put in a counter argument rebuttal, you're basically saying, hey, I know there are different positions on this issue, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think mine is the correct one and why there are problems with these other positions. So, looking at this paragraph on page 5, we'll look at the counter argument and rebuttal. Check it out. Despite the claims of some lobbyists, tough laws regulating phone use can make our roads safer. In Japan, for example, accidents linked to cell phones fell by 75% just a month after the country prohibited using a handheld phone while driving. And look, there we've got that cited research. Research suggests, and common sense tells us, that it is not possible to drive an automobile at high speeds, dial numbers, and carry on conversations without significant risks. When such behavior is regulated, obviously our roads will be safer. So, here's the counter argument. The counter argument is that lobbyists are saying that regulating cell phone use won't make a difference. And it's pretty much suggested here. I think this person could have done a better job with the counter argument by saying, despite some lobbyists claiming that tough laws won't make a difference, comma, tough laws regulating phone use can make our roads safer. The second part is the rebuttal. They will make our roads safer. And notice this person has put in a piece of research support in order to make you believe that. And it's important that your rebuttal has a piece of research in there. Somebody like a friend who's giving you backup at this point. Now, that is one paragraph of counter-argument and rebuttal. I really think, given the length of our paper, you should have one paragraph or two small paragraphs, but they both need to have the counter-argument and rebuttal in them. If you're just putting people's challenges to your thesis statement, but you're not kicking down or pushing back on those challenges, that's going to be a problem. So make sure you've got that rebuttal in there. And even in this paragraph above, we have a counter-argument and rebuttal. Look, the counter-argument is like, look, we have already got laws in counties and towns dealing with cell phone use and driving. That's all we need. That right there is the counter-argument. But notice there's also a tiny bit of the rebuttal in that topic sentence as well. But it makes more sense to legislate, that is, build a law at the state level. And then this person goes on with a restatement and also a restriction in that next sentence. Local laws are not likely to have the impact of state laws, and keeping track of a wide variety of local laws is confusing for drivers. So in other words, the rebuttal's going even further here in this restriction. And then we've got a quotation from our Verizon spokesperson saying statewide bans are preferable. So all this helps support the rebuttal, the rebuttal idea that it makes more sense to legislate or make laws at the state level and not just say, hey, every little town or every little county or every little, one stoplight village needs to have their own rules. So that's really how that one works too. And again, that's a really crucial part. And if you've already put it into your outline, it's pretty easy to flesh out into something like this. Now, let's look at this last one. Here comes our conclusion. And notice you've got a restatement of the thesis statement right at the top. Because of mounting public awareness of the dangers of drivers distracted by phones, lawmakers must build a single and fair law for the entire state. Simple enough. Notice this person then uses a quotation at the end. You can do that if you want. Remember, quotations or outside resources in your introduction and conclusion are not essential. They're not necessary. Now, moving forward, notice there's a works cited page. Notice it's a full new page. You can make that happen just by when you get to the bottom of your draft, like right here on this line, click at the very end and then go to your insert tab at the top here on Microsoft Word and put insert page break. And that will help you get that apart, get you what you need there. Now, a little bit of beefing up on our works cited pages. Notice they are in alphabetical order, all these sources, by that last name or by whatever the author is. So BFHI, you get it. And notice it's also in hanging indent form. And this is something you can do by selecting the whole page and creating a hanging indent. And this is a little bit complicated, but I'll look for a link for you to figure it out. I mean, one way to do it is just to right-click on it and go down through the paragraph menu. It's a little technical, but once you get it, it's something that you can easily incorporate. That's the end of that continuation of the walkthrough and explanation. Again, read through the whole thing to make sure you really understand how it's working. And if you've got questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to go through any part of this with you in greater detail. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon.